Tonight, as voters across Europe turn to the right, what it means for the economy, the climate, and the war in Ukraine.
The thing to watch out for are the national elections in different countries.
You can add one more to those, a sudden election call in France. When it comes to naming the MPs who may have helped foreign states, federal parties agree to ask for help outside the House.
I think to some degree it would be Parliament passing on a responsibility that it has.
And the American scientist who experimented on Indigenous kids in Canada.
One of our partners had a panic attack from claustrophobia.
In my eyes, that's abuse.
An exclusive investigation into how it was all allowed.
From CBC News, this is The National with Ian Hannamansing.
The repercussions are being felt across Europe after the weekend's stunning parliamentary election results. Tonight, campaigning in France is already underway after that snap election call, while voters have put politicians across the continent on notice, giving significant gains to far-right parties. Some of the biggest shifts happened in the heart of Europe. France, Germany, and Italy all seeing a surge in support for the right. And it all raises new questions for the region and the world about what it could mean on key issues like trade, the climate, and the war in Ukraine. Our reporters are in Europe tonight tracking the fallout. In a moment, we'll get to Briar Stewart on the ground for us in Kyiv. But let's start with Susan Ormiston on the immediate aftermath in France.
Catastrophique.
Catastrophic, says this French voter, as people protested for a second night in Paris. President Emmanuel Macron stepping out on day one of a surprise election campaign, hoping to prop up confidence in the government. His party was thumped last night by Marine Le Pen's Nationalist Party, which won a third of France's EU seats, double those of Macron's. A shift to the right echoed in Italy, Austria, and Germany.
It's clear that the radical right is rising, even though their success in the European parliamentary elections might not be as big as some would have expected. The thing to watch out for are the national elections in different countries.
A grim German chancellor said no one should go back to business as usual after his party posted its worst showing ever. While the far right, AFD, posted its best.
The main drivers for people to vote for radical right parties are immigration, integration, security, and also more generally their anti-establishment discourse, the fact that they represent an idea of change.
Change for the Greens meant they lost a quarter of their seats.
Especially France, Germany, which is of course the core also of the Green movement. We took a big hit and that we will have to digest.
And fight far-right parties and their allies who want to slow down or kill climate legislation. The center-right did hold. The European People's Party won the most seats. Ursula von der Leyen,
In diesen turbulenten Zeiten brauchen wir
urging stability and continuity, she said. But in a reshuffled parliament with pressures from the right, it will be harder to unify the EU's positions at home and on the world stage.
And Susan, looking ahead, where are some of the pressure points?
Well, clearly some Europeans feel a little alienated from political elites and emboldened by these wins. So they'll keep pressuring. And for some, it's a matter of cost. How much will these EU policies cost me? You want me to buy an electric vehicle to meet European climate targets? Okay, but how? The Commission has already felt the pressure on some migration and environmental policies. They can expect more.
Susan Ormiston reporting tonight from Amsterdam. For more on the potential impacts of the election results and what they could mean for the war in Ukraine, let's bring in Briar Stewart in Kyiv. And Briar, what kind of message does the vote send about support for Ukraine?
Well, Ian, Ukrainian officials say overall the result is positive because centrist parties, which are supportive of Ukraine, still have the highest number of seats, while right-wing parties, which either challenge or oppose support, didn't gain as much ground as some had predicted. But certainly the results in France and Germany must be troubling for Kyiv. As Susan mentioned, Emmanuel Macron's party was trounced, and he has become one of the strongest voices when it comes to lobbying for Ukraine. And Olaf Scholz's Social Democrats came behind the right-wing AfD party, which opposes Germany's backing of Ukraine. There's a lot of political tension, Ian, and it's not surprising that Russia has seized upon it. A spokesperson for the Kremlin today said that right-wing parties are stepping on the heels of the pro-Europeans.
Now, in terms of the war in Ukraine, where are things now?
Well, I think there is a lot of concern just about the next couple of months. We know that Russia is expected to launch an offensive. It seized a number of settlements north of Kharkiv. And while Ukraine says that the situation there has stabilized, I think this is a really pivotal time. Later this week, there's going to be a peace summit in Switzerland. Dozens of countries and organizations will attend, but there's not going to be negotiations because Russia won't be there. Instead, those attending say it will be about coming up with a roadmap for what a future peace process could look like.
Barry Stewart in Kyiv. The UN Security Council has approved a U.S.-sponsored resolution calling for a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Sasha Petrusik looks at the plan and the obstacles in getting it from an idea to reality.
Please raise their hand.
The UN Security Council approved a ceasefire plan aimed at ending the 8-month war in Gaza. The UN vote endorses a 3-phase deal announced by the U.S., which would see hostages released and possibly fighting stopped for good. It's not binding, though it does build pressure.
Israel has already agreed to this deal, and the fighting could stop today if Hamas would do the same.
But Arab countries are skeptical of Israel's commitment to any ceasefire deal.
It's time to halt the killing.
The vote comes as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken makes his 8th tour of Middle East capitals.
If you want a ceasefire, press Hamas to say yes.
In Israel, Blinken pressed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for a clearer vision of Palestinian rule after the conflict ends. But the deal's future has been complicated by events. First, by Israel's raid to rescue 4 hostages from Gaza over the weekend. It killed more than 270 Palestinians, Hamas says, sparking anger not only in Gaza, but among families of those still held hostage.
It's obvious to us that in order to get 120 people safely home, the most likely way to do that is going to be through a deal and not through operations like that.
The other complication is the resignation of Benny Gantz, a moderate opposition politician who left Israel's war cabinet over how the conflict was being run.
Gantz was a moderate voice in the cabinet, the inner war cabinet that Netanyahu was leading, and with him gone, it sort of tugs all the decisions to the right and to the more extreme.
Hamas's position is also unclear. It says it welcomes the UN vote, but still hasn't endorsed the ceasefire plan Washington's promoting. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Toronto.
Jury deliberations are now underway in the criminal trial of the U.S. president's son, Hunter Biden.
Guys, out of the way.
That is Biden leaving the court in Delaware today after deliberations ended without a verdict. He faces 3 federal charges accused of making false claims to buy a gun in 2018. The jury is set to reconvene Tuesday morning. The federal Liberals are backing a new call from opposition parties to get to the bottom of explosive allegations that some MPs helped foreign states. But some outside observers say the politicians are going about it the wrong way. Evan Dyer has today's developments.
In the House, the bloc presented a motion to send the secret report naming MPs who work for foreign powers to Justice Marie-Josée Hogue, who's already looking into foreign interference in the last 2 elections. The motion quickly drew support from both the Conservatives and from the NDP.
They have betrayed the trust placed in them. They have betrayed their oath of office, and they have cast a dark cloud over the institution of Parliament.
No one with those interests in mind should be sitting in this House of Commons. They should not be welcome in the Parliament of Canada.
Even some Liberals said they were in favour.
Until we know who exactly is named in that report as being conspiring with foreign entities, that a dark cloud hangs over all 338 members.
And in the end, the government threw its support behind it.
We're going to support the motion precisely because we think that the Hague Commission offers us an appropriate forum.
Meanwhile, at Senate hearings, some warned against a rush to name people who haven't yet had due process.
Your proper place for naming names is through an investigation and in a court of law, where someone who might be named for committing some kind of crime or other would have the appropriate opportunity to defend themselves.
And one former CSIS director said the Hague Commission wouldn't be the right place to drop this issue.
I don't think there's time to do it. She's been given unreasonable timeframes to begin with. And secondly, I think to some degree it would be Parliament passing on a responsibility that it has.
But it seems that the hot potato of whether to name names will now be passed to Justice Hogue. What's less certain is what she can do about it, or whether the same laws that force MPs to remain silent will also prevent her from making names public. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
A search and rescue operation is underway in Malawi tonight after a military plane went missing. It was carrying the country's vice president and 9 others. Aviation authorities say the aircraft, quote, went off the radar on what should have been a 45-minute flight from the capital to an airport in the north. Ottawa is pushing ahead with a proposed change on the taxes you pay on capital gains. The government says this is about tax fairness, but many say it won't be fair to them. Kate McKenna looks at the policy and the politics that may be at play.
Mr. Speaker, a point of order.
Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland laying the groundwork for a tax tweak intended to bring in billions of new revenue.
Our government is taking action to improve tax fairness for all Canadians.
A capital gain is the increase in value of an asset between purchase and sale. Assets like a cottage or stocks. At present, 50% of those gains are taxable. Under the government's plan, that would stay the same for individuals where the gains are $250,000 or less. But for gains by individuals above that, 66% would be taxable. And for corporations, 2/3 of all capital gains would be.
We know now is the time to invest in Canada and in Canadians. And we know that the fair way, the responsible way to pay for those investments is to ask those at the top to contribute a little bit more.
But others see it differently, including farmers who say they're being unfairly dinged because they're facing more taxes when they sell land.
On paper, farmers have lots of cash, but it's tied up in land, and the entire purpose behind farming is to pass it on to the next generation. So anything that makes that more complex, more difficult, and more expensive isn't good.
Some doctors are also concerned. Many run their practices as independent businesses.
This is not something that we do to grow with the intention of selling, as you might do with another business. It really is about retaining and investing for our future.
The government created separate legislation for this tax change, forcing the opposition to either vote for it or against it. The Conservatives haven't said where they stand on this issue, just that they're studying it carefully. The vote could happen as soon as tomorrow, and the proposed changes could be in effect by the end of the month. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Police say they're investigating an arson in London, Ontario as a possible hate-motivated crime. A house that was targeted had displayed pro-Palestinian signs. Katie Nicholson on the suspect being sought and a community's call for more action.
Plywood and scorched stone, evidence of an arson attack and possibly a much larger problem.
The act it represents is a terrifying escalation of hate.
London police say this man visited the home twice Saturday night, first to remove signs on the lawn and then to set a fire. They say they're treating it as a possible hate-motivated incident, but Muslim community leaders say there's no doubt in their minds.
The residents had put up signs on their lawn that called for an end to Islamophobia and recognized the human rights of Palestinians.
This incident comes just days after the 3-year anniversary of an Islamophobic terror attack, when a man purposefully ran down and killed 4 members of a Muslim family out for a walk. A horrific day that prompted big promises of change.
You should not have to face that hate in your communities, in your country. We can and we will act.
Since then, Ottawa has appointed a special representative on combating Islamophobia, and a committee is currently looking at solutions. On Monday, the weekend arson came up repeatedly.
I spoke with a family member last night who told me, had they been at home, had they rushed to open the door to see what was going on, a family member would have certainly been engulfed in the flames.
Reports of hate crime against both Muslims and Jews have rocketed up across the country since October 7th, when Hamas killed about 1,200 people in Israel. London is no exception, where police say anti-Muslim crime shot up 62% by the end of December. Those numbers and an apparent lack of progress frustrating neighbors of the arson victims.
We need people to actually show up and say, hey, we aren't going to stand for it, and here are the actions, and here are what we're going to show you, how we're not going to stand for it. So I think we really need to see action more than just lip service from politicians.
Until then, they'll have to look out for each other. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Calgary's mayor is thanking residents for cutting back on water use since that massive water main break last week, and she's urging people to keep it up.
If we don't stick to using less water, the reality is that we may run out of water. You could end up turning on a tap and nothing will come out.
The city says water use has been reduced by 25% as crews continue repairs and replacement of the feeder main. That could take a minimum of 5 to 7 days. The pipe provides water to 60% of the city. A fire at a training facility in March has led to serious challenges for some members of Canada's Olympic team.
It's hard to be an aquatic sport without water.
The obstacles they're overcoming to get ready for the Games in Paris next. Plus, a psychological experiment conducted on children, most of them Indigenous.
All I can think of, how did this get approved?
A CBC News investigation looks into allegations of unethical practices. And later, the Rafters, who came to the rescue.
It was huge. It was bigger than the boat.
The moment they helped free a beached whale. We're back in 2. Quick thinking from a stranded kite surfer on a California cliffside beach led to this long-line helicopter rescue yesterday. The kite surfer used rocks to spell out the word help, and it caught the attention of a passing pilot who called for help, alerting local rescue teams. Luckily, there were no injuries. And Toronto police say the fire that destroyed a historic church on Sunday is not considered suspicious, at least not so far. The investigation continues, and the Ontario Fire Marshal's office says it's too early to determine the cause or circumstances. St. Anne's Anglican Church was completed in 1908. Inside was art by 3 members of Canada's famed Group of 7. A big day for some of Canada's artistic swimmers named to the Olympic team, but this comes after some major challenges with Paris looming next month. Sarah Levitt has the story.
Beaming with pride in front of family and friends, this is Team Canada's artistic swimming team. An emotional return to the Olympics for some, a brand new adventure for others. But it has been far from an easy road.
They have delivered incredible, captivating, and inspirational performances despite the challenges that they have faced.
The biggest challenge? Just months before the Games, they lost their home base for training. At the end of March, a fire broke out at Montreal's Olympic Stadium. It houses a major sports training complex and the National Sports Institute.
It's hugely debilitating to us. I mean, at first, finding a pool, it's not just any sort of pool. We can't just swim in a bathtub or any public's pool. I mean, the Olympics will be in a 15-meter by 25-meter and specific dimensions, and that impacts our routine gravely.
It's hard to be an aquatic sport without water.
The team's chief sport officer managed to secure a spot at a school, but then the pool closed for maintenance.
So we get kicked out of that pool. We were lucky enough that they agreed to open Parc Jean Drapeau early and heat it. So we're in there, and then we get a phone call last week saying the pump is broken and the pool's closed for an undisclosed amount of time.
Access to equipment, sound systems, even their swimming suits gone. Schedules were completely upended.
There's a stress factor coming with changing environment. Not knowing the dimension of the pool, not knowing even if we'll access to a gym.
But Canada's chef de mission for Paris says athletes affected by the fire have shown an incredible resilience.
The attitude that they have is like no matter what we are dealing with till today, in Paris, we're going to be ready to go.
The women here say their hard work outweighs the challenges, with the Olympics just a month and a half away. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
A new Canadian-made product could make a big difference to the wine in your glass.
Those grapevines, when sprayed with a solution of our analog, were able to be 5-6 degrees more tolerant to freezing temperatures.
How it's protecting grapes against chillier weather. Plus, mind experiments carried out on Indigenous children.
To expose a child to that process is abuse.
Why some say the research was unethical.
Clearly, a serious mistake was made.
A CBC News investigation looks at why it was approved in the first place. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next.
This is the beginning of an exciting new chapter of personal intelligence.
Apple is partnering with ChatGPT to create Apple Intelligence. Launching this fall in Apple devices, the AI tools are expected to improve its virtual assistant, Siri, and can be used to enhance writing, photos, and videos. The tech giant says users will be in control with the ability to choose when AI is active and whether or not personal information is shared. Canadian researchers may have found a solution to help protect wine grapes from cold temperatures. It involves spraying a plant-based compound onto their leaves and stems. Ethan Williams looks at what the early results could mean for farmers.
It looks like something out of a science fiction movie, but what's happening in this lab at the University of Saskatchewan is real, and it could change the face of agriculture. Researchers at Abazyne Biotech are creating products from a plant hormone called abscisic acid. The goal? Spray it on wine grape crops to make them withstand cold temperatures. Abscisic acid, or ABA, naturally occurs in plants. It can close a plant's stomata, the tiny pore-like structures on its leaves and stem, but natural ABA doesn't always last a long time in the plant. Abazyne says its spray can outlast natural ABA, not only making grape crops hardy to frigid temperatures, but stopping them from budding too early during midwinter warm spells. Abazyne's chief scientist says results from crops in Ontario have been promising so far.
Those grapevines, when sprayed with a solution of our analog, were able to be 5-6 degrees more tolerant to freezing temperatures.
Jim Wilworth is testing the product on his grapes at Brock University. He says it's timely research given how climate change is impacting the growing season.
We can have very warm temperatures in February and March, and that can lead to premature cold hardiness loss.
The research is beneficial for commercial wine grape growers like Matthias Oppenlander. He's lost many hectares of crop at his vineyard in southern Ontario over the years from cold damage.
If you lose your vineyard, it can cost up to $50,000 to $60,000 an acre to replant a vineyard. So not only that, you lose, it takes 3 to 4 years to bring that plant into production again.
Right now, it is a bit expensive.
Back at Abazyne, the next step is taking the product from the lab and selling it commercially, with research showing it could also be used on other fruit crops. Ethan Williams, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. CBC News investigates an experiment carried out on about 60 children.
Clearly, a serious mistake was made.
The kids, mostly Indigenous, were told they could make life better by learning to control their brainwaves.
It was bonkers.
That was a decade ago in Saskatchewan. Today, some say that study violated basic ethics rules and should never have been approved by a major university. Jeff Leo has our exclusive story.
This is James Hart. He's a brain training guru.
With the right brainwaves, you can do anything. Levitate, walk on water, walk on fire.
He says his brain training program will increase your IQ, your creativity, and happiness. His work has made him a bit of a celebrity.
My dear friend, Dr. Jim Hart, and his BioCybernet program is extraordinary.
In 2014, Hart turned his attention to Saskatchewan, to a group of mostly Indigenous kids and their families.
We have a novel group
We have a powerful technology. Let's see what happens.
Hart tested that technology on the brains of about 60 kids from Prince Albert.
In a dark room for more than half the day, listening to scary trumpets. I'm thinking, oh my God, this place is really weird.
It was traumatizing.
Clearly, a serious mistake was made.
In my eyes, that's abuse. To put a child through that, all I can think of, like, how did this get approved?
That's the question we're trying to answer.
Welcome to BioCybernaut.
For decades, Hart has been studying and promoting neurofeedback,
Then the brain waves,
which he says is backed by science.
as a result of the first week, there's a 50% increase in creativity. IQ goes up 11.7 points, and negative things go away, like anxiety, depression, paranoia, schizophrenia.
Neurofeedback is a technology that enables people to hear or view their own brainwaves in real time. Practitioners like Hart say it can help people detect and fix their faulty thinking patterns. Hart has his own patented version of the technology.
I'm the inventor, the creator of the technology. You want to listen to the tones.
His innovation is intensity. He says in just 1 week, his approach provides the equivalent of 21 to 40 years of Zen meditation. For hours a day, people are all alone in a tiny pitch-black room, listening to their own brainwaves. Even fans of the program say it is a lot to take in.
And I got to go in this dark little room that has no light, and it's freezing cold, but it's a bitch. It's horrible. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody that wants easy experiences.
So people come in here.
They spend hours more in group sessions discussing traumatic life experiences and coming up with more positive ways to think about them.
Volume test. Please sit comfortably with your eyes closed. Feedback volume test starts now.
Hart describes his brain training program as spiritual science. He claims that sometimes participants can see into the spiritual world. He says that's just what happened during a session with a professional football player.
But he was terrified because 3 angels showed up in the chamber and went, "You haven't been living a very good life."
BioCybernaut's focus on Saskatchewan began when an Indigenous teacher from Prince Albert approached Hart to ask if he would offer his program in her city. She had recently taken his training and believed it would be transformative for students and teachers. Hart was able to secure funding, and in 2014 he launched the study focused on children from 12 to 15 years old from schools with a high population of Indigenous students. The school division supported the study and allowed brochures like this one to be handed out to students.
I was so excited, and I kept bugging her until she would agree to go.
China Gallerno was 12 years old when she got the offer, and all expenses paid, week-long trip to Victoria for brain school for one child and one parent or guardian.
They made it sound more like it was going to be like an enjoyable, vacation where we go learn to get healthier.
Alma Stonestand was skeptical, but she was also happy to see her daughter excited about self-improvement.
I always believed in therapy, and I believed in healing, and I believed in getting better. China wants to grow, so that's where we're going to go.
So a few months later, they arrived at BioCybernaut in Victoria. Their first morning began with a shock when they were ushered into a room with another pair from Prince Albert, a grandmother and granddaughter, and technicians began putting electrodes on their heads.
We did not know about that until just when it started happening to us. And by that point, we couldn't turn around.
They were placed all alone into pitch-black rooms with speakers around their heads. They were told that each one was playing a different sound created by their brainwaves. China and Alma say they were stuck in these chambers for hours a day. In a separate room, technicians were watching.
One of our partners had a panic attack from claustrophobia. from being in the room, and like I seen her have that panic attack, and then that like put that fear in me.
You're one of the people that was being experimented on, right? China says her training took an even stranger turn when she asked what the researchers were trying to accomplish. She was told they believed she had special brainwaves that she could harness for good.
They're trying to create a team of like people who have, I think it was delta or theta waves, to see if they can like change the course of like natural disasters. And she called it like a team of superheroes.
When they weren't in the chamber, they were in a group discussion, laying on canopy beds, talking about some of the most traumatic moments in their lives.
They said that they could read what we were feeling or what we were thinking when we were listening to a certain noise or exposed to a certain noise by how the graphs went. And I was like, well, that's kind of mumbo jumbo shit. You could be making up anything.
University of Victoria social work professor Amanda Lavalley, who is Métis, met with CBC here at BioCybernaut's former Victoria location. It has since been turned into a retreat center. Back in 2014, she was a PhD student in Saskatchewan and was asked to join the study's research team.
It was creepy. So I understood.
As part of her due diligence, she came here to experience the training firsthand.
Going through this process with strangers, being recorded, and then having to lay on a bed and regurgitate all that pain over again, and then come up with an alternative, better memory of those situations. To expose a child to that process is abuse. In my eyes, that's abuse.
Alma said that by day 3, China just wanted to go home.
We were poor. We were given a free trip. We had no choice but to stay because we had no way back.
When we come back, reality hits hard as China and Alma return home. And CBC's investigation discovers a shocking flaw at the center of this study.
So all I can think of, like, how did this get approved?
Why critics believe ethical guidelines were breached when dozens of Saskatchewan children were recruited for an experiment.
The people who were subjected to this research didn't know what they were getting into.
We asked the man behind the science to address the many concerns. Here's Jeff Leo with the conclusion of his exclusive investigation.
After their week of brain training in Victoria, Alma and China arrived back in Prince Albert. Reality hit hard.
They had hopes like the world was going to change around them, or they'd be able to make these changes in the world, but the world still sucked.
She says after the program, life seemed to get worse for them and others who took part.
I got 6 people in mind. We all digressed after that, and I don't know if it was because of the program.
Have you noticed?
Neurofeedback practitioner Annette Rogel says side effects like anxiety, depression, and dissociation are possible.
Neurofeedback is a strong tool. It's a strong treatment modality, and it does change the brain. We gear for improvement, but it can cause adverse reactions.
Rogel says while neurofeedback can be very effective, she says several things about Hart's methodology concern her. While his neurofeedback sessions run hours a day, her research shows children can only handle a few minutes.
We started with 30 minutes and we saw that it was too long. And we started shortening the sessions all the way to 6 to 10 minutes. And the learning curve and the impact of the neurofeedback was much stronger, including much less adverse reactions.
She also says neurofeedback practitioners should be in the room when treating clients, especially children.
To keep a child all by themselves with this schedule, for me, it's not acceptable.
Much of the first 3 days, we tell people, is just learning how to learn.
Hart says it's laughable to suggest that neurofeedback can accomplish anything in just a few minutes, but he does say that he limited the treatment to just 2 hours a day for this study for the sake of the children. And he points out that his staff carefully monitored participants. CBC also asked Hart about the concerns raised by Alma and China, but he didn't reply. Back in 2014, just as the study was getting started, Amanda Lavalley was asked to join the research team. But after she experienced the biocybernaut training, she said no.
I didn't want to be part of that project because I thought it was whacked, for a simple term. It was bonkers.
She says she's shocked that a research ethics board approved this study. Lavalley says ordinarily proposals go through rigorous evaluation, especially if they involve Indigenous children.
So all I can think of, like, how did this get approved?
That question is at the heart of CBC's investigation. Our search took us on a winding path that eventually led us here, to the University of Regina, and to this crucial document. This is the research ethics application, and what's most interesting about it is what's missing from it.
Clearly, a serious mistake was made.
Medical historian Ian Mosby says the ethics application failed to describe what would actually happen at brain school.
That is totally unacceptable. There's no description anywhere in the REB application that actually talks about what that is. But it's actually the heart of the experiment.
He says there was a consent form, but it was not adequate.
You can't have informed consent without information. The people who were subjected to this research didn't know what they were getting into. And that's a huge problem.
The University of Regina refused our request for an interview, so in an email we asked why it approved this study. The university said its research ethics board actually only reviewed a small portion of the study relating to a questionnaire for the project. The university says that it did not review BioCybernauts' methodology.
That's pretty surprising.
Stephen Hopshin-Can says even if the University of Regina was just involved in a small portion of the study, it was obligated to ensure that the entire thing had received ethical review.
You can't just say, well, we're just looking at this small part. You need to know what that part comes from and make sure that that's being done ethically.
Which takes us back to James Hart. He told us that BioCybernauts' role in the study was not subject to ethics review.
As a private company, BioCybernaut Institute of Canada Ltd., none of that was necessary. We were training members of the public.
Well, he's certainly misinformed. Private companies can't just do unapproved research. They definitely need ethics board approval.
While the University of Regina initially defended its role in the study, eventually it acknowledged something might have gone wrong. In an email, U of R Vice President Christopher Yost said the university is sorry for any role it may have played in causing harm. He says since that time, the university has tightened up its rules. There's one final twist to this story. It relates to a Saskatchewan academic who took the lead role in promoting this project in the first place. Carrie Barassa, the study's principal investigator, who at the time was a rising star in academia. Initially, it was Barassa who attracted Lavalley to the project because she was Lavalley's friend and mentor.
So I think back and think how foolish I was.
Lavalley trusted Barassa in part because she claimed to be Métis, just like Lavalley. But this research project made her begin to doubt Barassa's judgment.
If you're an Indigenous person, where would you think it would be okay to do research like this?
Then, in 2021, this.
One of Canada's leading Indigenous health experts is being accused of lying about her ancestry.
A CBC investigation concluded Barassa was of entirely European descent. Lavalley worries that the University of Regina may have given the BioCybernaut study less scrutiny because it mistakenly believed the project was being led by an Indigenous researcher.
There's this contention sometimes of, oh, this is Indigenous research. Let's just approve it because we don't want to challenge it because we don't want to be called a racist if we challenge it.
Alma Stonestand says when CBC first reached out for an interview, she was hesitant because there were so many powerful people involved. But now, she says, she hopes to get some answers and accountability.
They take advantage of these kids' minds to use them for their own study, to use them for their own purposes, with empty promises of things that they couldn't give them, they couldn't possibly give them, they couldn't pull through, like, you know. That was offensive, that they came and played with all these kids' minds.
Jeff Leo's in Regina. Jeff, where does the story go from here?
Yeah, so as you heard in the documentary, Alma says she's looking for answers. She's looking for accountability. And Ian Mosby, the medical historian that was in the documentary, says that's exactly what the University of Regina owes her and the other people who took part in the study. Mosby says it's not enough for the University of Regina to simply say that, you know, this was a long time ago. We apologize and we've tightened up our ethical review processes. Mosby says the university needs to launch an investigation to find out how this study got approved in the first place, or call in an independent body that can do that study itself.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Coming up, a majestic creature in its moment of need.
I literally have never seen anything like this in the 17 years I've been doing this.
The whitewater rafters who stepped in to help. Next, in our moment. You're looking at a minke whale stranded on a sandbar in the Shubenacadie River in Nova Scotia. Not exactly what you'd expect to see as you headed out whitewater rafting. But a group of rafters jumped into action. They scared off birds that were looking for a meal and splashed water on the animal until the tide came back in. And their quick thinking is our moment.
We saw something out on the beach, something big, and sure enough, it turned out to be this live whale in a small tidal pool, only about half a meter deep.
She probably came in from the bay, entered in when it was deep, got probably too far down the river. The river can rise and drop up to 2 inches a minute, and she was just cruising over top of sandbar. And then by the time she realized that it was just too shallow.
I can definitely tell by looking at it when it was there that it was not having a good day. For about half an hour, we were splashing water on this whale, waiting for the tide to come in. You could get close enough to it that you could touch it. Like it was in the sand, you could walk right up to it.
It was huge. It was bigger than the boat. And I literally have never seen anything like this in the 17 years I've been doing this. Happy feeling story, because as the water level comes up, it was able to get to deeper water. And then once we were heading back to home base, it started coming with us back up towards the bay.
I'm really glad that this story has a happy ending.
And that happiness continues. The Marine Animal Response Society spotted the whale heading out to the Bay of Fundy on Sunday evening and haven't seen it since then, which we're told is good news. For all of us here at The National, thanks very much for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Ian Hannah-Mansing in Vancouver. See you tomorrow night.